Hello and welcome everyone to the next episode of Higher Intelligence, where we are bringing the expertise in recruitment and expertise in AI intelligence to help the job seekers and talent acquisitions team to use AI in a meaningful way in the process. Today, I have two guests with me, Ben Sanders, who is principal at Singleton Group, and he has been leading the talent acquisition teams in domains like technology, sales for last 15 plus years. So, welcome, Ben, to the podcast.
Thanks, Devin. Great to be here.
And also have Jerin John. He is been with Meta and Amazon in past. He has been leading the operations group successfully, and lately he has found a new passion to help the job seekers, especially in the South Asian communities, to organize them and help them in their job seeking endeavor. So, welcome, Jerin.
Thank you. Nice to be here as well.
Great, great. So let's get started. Today we will be more focusing on the use of AI in recruitment. So that's our topic. We would like to touch on how it is impacting the recruitment process, both from the recruiter's perspective as well as from the job seeker's perspective, and also keeping in mind the organizations, the hiring managers who are actually seeking these things, right? So let's dive in, how these things are really impacting. So Ben, I'll start with you. And you have been doing the recruitment for a decade plus now. You have seen many resumes. It's always get overwhelmed with set of resumes. So I would like to just pick your brain to see what stands out for you in a resume when you're looking for a candidate for a particular position.
Okay. So first, thanks, Devin. You'd stop reminding me how long I've been in the industry. I'm going to turn 40 next year, and you're going to send me into a midlife crisis. So I think as far as resumes goes, my thoughts on it are a little bit different, and I've engaged in some conversations on this recently.
Mhm.
The way I think about resumes is that it really stands out more so than ever now if you focus on a quantifiable result or accomplishment and then move on from there. What we're seeing a lot of these days is what I call like a keyword soup, where you see all of these buzzwords and tools that people might be using, but you don't really get a good idea of what somebody actually does with them. So the way I recommend going about things is start by if you're building your resume, look at the position that you're trying to put content in around, and think, what did I accomplish here? What can I quantify and say I did this, or even if it's my team did this and I contributed in this way. Then you'll be able to work in the technologies you used, a programming language you used, a client you sold to, etc. From there. And you will definitely be able to work in all the keywords needed. But if you start from a keyword perspective, it's really hard to work back from that and then get the accomplishments in.
Okay, great advice. Yeah. So, how important it is for one to understand the requirements on the job description and then fine tune their resumes for that particular job, or does just the keywords and technologies or the set of areas that you worked are good enough?
I think it's fairly important to do that, and that's something that, like, when we're working with candidates at Singleton, we give them coaching on how to do that because we always know a lot about what our clients are looking for, and we think that's really important to set both parties up for success. When you're doing it on your own, I think that the methodology around building your resume that I mentioned already actually makes it easier to do that, because if you're looking at a company and you can think, all right, what did I accomplish that's like this, rather than trying to guess which points in a job description are the most important. I think that makes it way easier to do, and it makes it much easier to not have to feel like you're rewriting your entire resume, because maybe you just substitute one thing, right? And to get it across that, yeah, I've served a company in this industry before, that kind of thing. That makes it much easier.
Got it. And that applies to interview as well. I believe that preparation of an interview representing yourself right for that job by understanding these things and fine tuning your answers and your preparation towards the job description.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I think interview preparation in particular
Mm-hmm.
is a great spot for the use of AI tools. Because that's where I think something like a tool that helps you prep for that, like a Bytes and Spokes,
Mm-hmm.
that lets you make sure you have the information ready that somebody might want to hear. But you're not actually using it to interact with somebody, which is where I think the quality goes down when you're using AI. So I think that preparation is important, and it sets you up to give specific answers to questions or conversation that you're having in interviews, which is where a lot of even very talented folks go wrong. Is they will give an answer that is very general and is to the effect of, yes, I can do that, versus showing somebody how they've done that or something similar in the past. The showing, which comes from the preparation that you mentioned, Devin, that's really powerful, and that's really what helps people get jobs.
Great. That's a great advice, and there's something I definitely think that the job seekers miss out on. How about you, Jaren? What's your perspective when you work with these job seekers and communities that you work with? And another question I have is going beyond resumes. When it comes to their social media presence, right? How much important it is, and how they can actually fine tune their presence on, say, LinkedIn or any other sort of forums that are available out there.
Absolutely. I mean, it is absolutely important to have a very good social presence, especially your profile on LinkedIn is extremely important for job seekers. And this is what I've been telling to every single job seeker I come across whenever we do any sessions. You have to make sure that you know what's out there. So Google yourself first and see what's out there. Does your LinkedIn profile pull up, or is there something else getting pulled up? And if something else is getting pulled up, what exactly is it that recruiters or even hiring managers can actually find about you? So that's an important thing that you should know yourself, so that you can ensure that what's out there is absolutely something that you want people to be aware of, and find you, and find the right information about yourself. So optimizing your LinkedIn is extremely important. When I say that, I mean optimizing your LinkedIn headline, summary, experience with achievements, using keywords, mirroring whatever you have in your resume, especially the strengths that you have. And then what you can also do is you can engage by posting relevant industry insights and share, projects across platforms. Follow. You can also follow target companies. Connect with employees in those companies. Try to find out more about the job. Those kind of the information that you don't get to see in the job description, that will help you answer some questions that are posed at you maybe during the interview process. And then again, another thing you can do now, that LinkedIn has made available, is make your profile open to work. So then, if you make that open to work, then recruiters know that you are a candidate who is looking actively. And so there is a more importantly, it's a visibility tool. So you get a lot of visibility when you click that. Even your friends and family who have any open positions that are specifically where you're skilled at, they can come to you directly as well, whoever are connected to you on LinkedIn. And then set up job alerts for tailored opportunities. I think that will also be very important.
Yeah,
Um,
important.
yeah,
So
and
basically,
Apple
you are saying that you have to keep on marketing yourself, right? And it's time for market
market yourself.
yourself more. Sort of better you market, better your chances are, right? Apart from everything that Ben earlier highlighted on fine
Absolutely,
tuning your resumes and your interview preparation as well, right? So
absolutely.
there is something Ben is playing that everybody's mind, right? Is getting filtered through this application tracking systems and ATSs. So everybody it's always on their mind. And so can you've been in industry for long enough, how these ATSs work. So can you shed a little bit light on what works and what doesn't work with ATSs, and how seriously people should be taking on getting filtered by ATS?
Okay, let me know if I get too technical on this, because
Sure.
like you said, I've spent a
I
lot of
will.
time kind of
Yeah.
combing through ATSs. Um, first thing is the idea that the tool itself is saying no to people is to a large extent BS, especially in the United States, where there is already legislation out there and regulation out there preventing that from being the case. I think the state of New York has a law that is the most prominent in my mind around that. However, what does happen is a ranking system. And there will be a search for keywords, like we talked about at the beginning, that says, all right, this person has more of the most important keywords in their resume, and so they'll appear higher up the list. And that is where you want to be. You want to be high on the list. If a job gets 100 applications, honestly, just from a time management standpoint, it is very unlikely that a recruiter is going to be able to do an in-depth review of all of those applications. They will keep going through it until they find enough suitable candidates, and then they'll move on to the next position in the queue. And so that's why you really want to make sure if you have done something relevant to whatever job you're applying for, it shows up in the resume with the relevant technologies or tools or skills in that segment of the resume. Now, there has been a lot of conversation on LinkedIn about like auto rejects and seeing rejections right away. If you've applied to a job recently, you'll see a lot of times there's questions in addition to the profile you submit. Those questions are the things that do an auto knockout sometimes. And so sometimes they'll be around regulatory stuff or location, that kind of thing. Those are the ones that it's not so much the AI or the machine learning algorithm that an ATS has. It is the answers to those knockout questions, which are actually a very human thing. It's a human deciding which questions to be asked, and it's a human answering those questions.
So now since you touched on AI, let's get into a little bit deeper into that. So you mentioned that it's not really AI that is really rejecting or selecting you. It's more how you are actually interacting with these systems and what data that it providing. But is it ending there, or are these ATSs getting smarter by the day using AI? And what kind of impact that you are seeing in the modern recruitment process when it comes to especially AI, Gen AI capabilities that the new models have?
I think that it's making a lot of things easier in the generation of certain things, right? It's easier to generate a resume that to most people will look competent, which has really just, all that has really done is reframed what a good resume looks like, because you don't want to really look like everything else, just like in a marketing pursuit. AI has been fantastic, I think, from a sourcing perspective. If you're going outside of your ATS, it allows you to figure out which skills are at a premium for the position that you're searching for. I think in my case, doing interviews, it's fantastic. There's a couple tools I've used, JobTwine and MetaView, that are fantastic when doing the interviews to either take notes for me or suggest relevant topics that I can talk to somebody about as a non-technical individual who's interviewing technical folks. I think it's great in all of those situations. I actually think that it has gone the other way. I think from a decision-making standpoint, AI has made things harder in a lot of ways.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Actually, but it is providing more intelligence to the process, a better hit rate rather than having the wrong hires, right? Which is great. How about from the recruiters or the job seekers perspective, Jaren? What are you seeing? Like you talked about creating a personal brand for the job seekers, right? So how do you see the advent of AI really playing into that personal job, personal brand creation for the individual?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, AI tools have become game changers for career advancements today. Job seekers benefit. If you take, for instance, LinkedIn's AI-driven job recommendations, that aligns open positions with their skills and experience. So that is something that people have been actively using. There's AI-powered resume builders out there, interview simulators, are also they're also very popular among the job seekers. They help candidates tailor their applications and then refine their responses. And then for career development, AI tools like personalized learning platforms recommend courses and skill building based on industry trends. And then at Bytes and Spokes, which I co-founded, we offer AI-backed insights for job seekers, including customized cover letters and quick no registration needed options, where they can quickly get insights and quickly get cover letters for the jobs, that specific job that they're trying to apply for. And then the platform also provides support in resume optimization and job referrals, helping candidates stand out in a competitive job market. So there's plenty of AI tools out there, and it's something that every job seeker should be taking advantage of.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is, from both sides, the balance is there, right? And since if the recruitment or recruiters are actually using AI, so are there tools that can help the job seeker to stand out and create the right preparation for that thing, right? So let's talk about one thing that is playing on everybody's mind, right? Is about ethics and creating like this bias. So I'll take both of your views. I'll go with Ben first. So Ben, if you can comment on, how do you see this bias part playing in the recruitment process today? Is it really there? Or if you can comment on that part, really.
The real answer is it depends. I mean, yes, there is really bias there, and what that bias is depends on the person, the company who is doing the hiring. Right? It's different everywhere, and it could be it could just be around skill set, or it could be around tenure that somebody has at a certain company. Right, and then you get into things that are a little bit uglier from a topic perspective as well on bias. But it does definitely exist, and it's something that needs to be managed, whether it's conscious or unconscious bias.
And how about you, from your perspective, from the job seeker's perspective? What are you seeing, Jaren, in the market right now? How much it is weighing on everybody's mind when it comes to the job seekers themselves?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of worry. Personally, when I was looking for a job as well, I know that there's a lot of worry out there, especially with the new tools and technologies out there. And then people that I've interacted with, every single job seeker, they definitely are. I mean, they definitely think there are things that they could do better, but they don't know what to do better. So, what they could have done better is, they could have taken several proactive steps to avoid being unfairly filtered out by AI. Like using the relevant keywords, focusing on specific format and structure, like use a very standard resume formats that are easily readable by ATS. If you go to any fancy format, sometimes ATS gets confused. So avoid complex layouts, for example. And then highlight your soft skills and achievements. That's something that they could have done. Ensuring, making sure that, actively seeking out job opportunities in various industries and organizations to increase your chances of being considered. So it's kind of making the job market more inclusive than exclusive. And then engaging with your networks, leveraging professional networks like we have in NMP, Network of Malayali Professionals, right? So in each community where, you are actually getting job seeking advice and insights and connections to all these different people, you should definitely, seek advice there. So building genuine connections there can supplement AI's shortcomings. And then researching companies and their AI practices, understand how potential employers actually are utilizing AI in their hiring process. That can help, and get really, if you understand that, you can really tailor your application the right way. And then testing your applications, also use tools to check how resumes perform against job descriptions and ATS systems. And then what you can also do is seeking feedback, encouraging, reaching out to peers, mentors to review resumes and cover letters. So they can, you can get fresh perspectives from them. So those are some of the things that they should be doing. In addition to, basically just, creating a cover letter and a resume.
Makes sense.
One
Absolutely.
thing, Jaren, I think people can do to counterintuitively reduce bias is make sure your picture is up and clear on LinkedIn. I think that's a little bit counterintuitive, because if you're saying there's bias in the market, why should I put everything out there? But I think the sense of transparency is the expectation, because social media is so ubiquitous. it's now a strange thing not to have the picture there. And there can be a thought that, okay, why don't you have a picture there? Or why do you just have like the Linux logo as your picture there? What's going
Yeah,
on with this?
absolutely. That's so
Um,
true.
And one thing that I have done a large scale talent acquisition in my previous life, and one thing that I can definitely say that people hire people, right? So
Yes.
that that personal aspect and the people aspect is very important. The AI is just an aid, right? It may introduce a bias, but to overcome that bias, really, the job seekers' responsibility to really be transparent, be out there, explain what you bring to the table, and I think that bias definitely can be reduced, right? One another thing that I, in my past life, have seen very effective and especially in the competitive market is to create a good engagement between the hiring companies and the candidates themselves, right? Ben, what do you think? Like, instance, can AI and especially the generative AI, can help us cross that chasm and really use AI to our advantage to have that kind of an engagement model going forward?
I think it's similar to what I said about interviews. I
Mhm.
think generative AI it can be very helpful in helping you figure out what to say. Like, what topic should I engage with this company on? Who should I possibly engage with at this company?
Mhm.
Um, but like you said, like humans hire humans, and
Yeah.
so if you use AI to actually do the engagement for you, I think that becomes a negative. But if you use it for the prep, I think that's a very positive thing, and it can make what you're saying much more powerful because you have a lot of help from this collaborative intelligence that's providing you topics and intelligence.
Wonderful. Thank you. So, it is very apparent that the recruitment process itself, the job seeking process itself is evolving as we are, trying to find our ways through this AI journey. I'm going to just ask both of you any parting notes before we conclude this podcast. I'll start with you, Jerin, first, and then the closing remarks from you, Ben. So, Jerin, if you want to comment on, any closing thoughts.
Absolutely. I mean, I would just reiterate that job seekers should embrace the evolving landscape by leveraging AI tools for personalized job recommendations and optimizing their online presence. It's like absolutely important. Building a strong network and engaging authentically with industry professionals can also open doors that AI alone may not. And then finally, I would say, remain adaptable, and open to learning new skills as the job market will always continue to change. By combining all the strategies that we discussed here, candidates can navigate this dynamic environment more effectively and increase their chances of success. Tools like Bytes and Spokes are absolutely essential today. Saves a lot of time. Make sure that you get all the insights that you need. So using AI tools to your advantage is going to be really, really crucial to landing that job that you really need to.
Wonderful. It will help, Jerin, if you can share the URL to Bytes and Spokes, in the podcast later today. So it will be great. Thank you. How
Absolutely.
about you, Ben? Do you want to give some last thoughts?
Yeah, I think overall, I think AI can help both recruiters and candidates, right? But I think that's something important to remember is that any system needs friction. Um, and if you remove that friction unintelligently, it causes problems. Like if you think about a car, right? You want as little friction as possible in the engine, but
Mhm.
there's still friction elsewhere. Like there's friction under the wheels. And so if you remove all the friction, like you're driving on ice, which I don't know if you guys get ice in California, but if you're driving on ice, you don't go very far, or you go out of control and you hit stuff, right?
No, but we know
Uh,
hydroplaning enough here.
Uh, and so that, I think there's a very nuanced take on where you should use AI.
Mhm.
And if you, on either side, if you end up finding yourself in a spot where there is no friction in your application or hiring process, I think that's going to lead to a lot of unintended bad results, right? You want to make sure you choose where am I going to use this and where can I leverage it the best and where should I put my human energies into?
Wonderful. Thank you so much, both of you. It was great having you and learning from you. You have been in industry for a long time, so thank you for your time. And this concludes our episode for today. I hope it was helpful for both job seekers as well as the managers and the recruiters who are trying to use AI in a meaningful way to hire intelligently. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Have a nice day.
Thanks, guys. Later.
Thank you.